Residential Building Inspector Exam Course Preparation. Class 2. Preface. Introduction. The International Residential Code, IRC, establishes minimum requirements for one- and two-family dwellings and townhouses using prescriptive provisions. It is founded on broad-based principles that make possible the use of new materials and new building designs. This 2018 edition is fully compatible with all of the international codes. Chapter 3. Building Planning. R310.2.2. Windowsill height. Where a window is provided as the emergency escape and rescue opening, it shall have a sill height of not more than 44 inches, 1,118 millimeters, above the floor. Where the sill height is below grade, it shall be provided with a window well in accordance with Section R310.2.3. R310.2.1. Minimum opening area. Emergency and escape rescue openings shall have a net clear opening of not less than 5.7 square feet, 0.530 square meters. The net clear opening dimensions required by this section shall be obtained by the normal operation of the emergency escape and rescue opening from the inside. The net clear height of the opening shall not be less than 24 inches, 610 millimeters, and the net clear width shall not be less than 20 inches, 508 millimeters. R311.2. Egress door. Not less than one egress door shall be provided for each dwelling unit. The egress door shall be side-hinged and shall provide a clear width of not less than 32 inches, 813 millimeters, where measured between the face of the door and the stop, with the door open 90 degrees, 1.57 radius. The clear height of the door opening shall not be less than 78 inches, 1,981 millimeters in height, measured from the top of the threshold to the bottom of the stop. Other doors shall not be required to comply with these minimum dimensions. Egress doors shall be readily openable from inside the dwelling without the use of a key or special knowledge or effort. R311.6. Hallways. The width of a hallway shall not be less than 3 feet, 914 millimeters. R311.7. Stairways. R311.7.1. Width. Stairways shall not be less than 36 inches, 914 millimeters, in clear width at all points above the permitted handrail height and below the required headroom height. The clear width of stairways at and below the handrail height, including treads and landings, shall not be less than 31.5 inches, 787 millimeters, where a handrail is installed on one side, and 27 inches, 698 millimeters, where handrails are installed on both sides. Exception. The width of spiral stairways shall be in accordance with Section R311.7.10.1. R311.7.2. Headroom. The headroom in stairways shall not be less than 6 feet 8 inches, 2,032 millimeters, measured vertically from the sloped line adjoining the tread nosing or from the floor surface of the landing or platform on that portion of the stairway. R311.7.10.1. Spiral stairways. The clear width at and below the handrails at spiral stairways shall not be less than 26 inches, 660 millimeters, and the walk line radius shall not be greater than 24.5 inches, 622 millimeters. Each tread shall have a depth of not less than 6 3/4 inches, 171 millimeters, at the walk line. Treads shall be identical, and the rise shall not be more than 9.5 inches, 241 millimeters. Headroom shall not be less than 6 feet 6 inches, 1,982 millimeters. R311.7.5.2. Stairway treads. The tread depth shall not be less than 10 inches, 254 millimeters. The tread depth shall be measured horizontally between the vertical planes of the foremost projection of adjacent treads and at a right angle to the tread's leading edge. The greatest tread depth within any flight of stairs shall not exceed the smallest by more than 3/8 inch, 9.5 millimeters. R311.7.5.1 Risers. The riser height shall not be more than 7 3/4 inches, 196 millimeters. The riser shall be measured vertically between leading edges of the adjacent treads. The greatest riser height within any flight of stairs shall not exceed the smallest by more than 3/8 inch, 9.5 millimeters. Risers shall be vertical or sloped from the underside of the nosing of the tread above at an angle not more than 30 degrees, 0.51 radius from the vertical. At open risers, openings located more than 30 inches, 762 millimeters as measured vertically, to the floor or grade below shall not permit the passage of a 4-inch diameter, 102 millimeter sphere. R311.7.5.2.1 Winder treads. Winder treads shall have a tread depth of not less than 10 inches, 254 millimeters, measured between the vertical planes of the foremost projection of adjacent treads at the intersections with the walk line. Winder treads shall have a tread depth of not less than 6 inches, 152 millimeters at any point within the clear width of the stair. Within any flight of stairs, the largest winder tread depth at the walk line shall not exceed the smallest winder tread by more than 3/8 inch, 9.5 millimeters. Consistently shaped winders at the walk line shall be allowed within the same flight of stairs as rectangular treads, and shall not be required to be within 3/8 inch, 9.5 millimeters, of the rectangular tread depth. R311.7.8.5 Grip size. Required handrails shall be of one of the following types, or provide equivalent graspability. Handrails with a circular cross-section shall have an outside diameter of not less than 1 1/4 inches, 32 millimeters, and not greater than 2 inches, 51 millimeters. If the handrail is not circular, it shall have a perimeter of not less than 4 inches, 102 millimeters, and not greater than 6 1/4 inches, 160 millimeters, and a cross-section of not more than 2 1/4 inches, 57 millimeters. Edges shall have a radius of not less than 0.01 inch, 0.25 millimeters. R311.7.8 Handrails. Handrails shall be provided on not less than one side of each flight of stairs with 4 or more risers. R303.7 Interior stairway illumination. Interior stairways shall be provided with an artificial light source to illuminate the landings and treads. The light source shall be capable of illuminating treads and landings to levels of not less than 1 foot candle, 11 lux, as measured at the center of treads and landings. There shall be a wall switch at each floor level to control the light source where the stairway has 6 or more risers. Exception: a switch is not required where remote, central, or automatic control of lighting is provided. R311.7.8.2 Handrail projection. Handrails shall not project more than 4.5 inches, 114 millimeters, on either side of the stairway. Exception: where nosings of landings, floors, or passing flights project into the stairway, reducing the clearance at passing handrails. Handrails shall project not more than 6.5 inches, 165 millimeters, into the stairway, provided that the stair width and handrail clearance are not reduced to less than that required. R311.8.2 Landings required. There shall be a floor or landing at the top and bottom of each ramp, where doors open onto ramps and where ramps change directions. The width of the landing perpendicular to the ramp slope shall not be less than 36 inches, 914 millimeters. R311.8.3 Handrails required. Handrails shall be provided on not less than one side of ramps exceeding a slope of 1 unit vertical in 12 units horizontal, 8.33% slope. R310.2.3 Window wells. The horizontal area of the window well shall not be less than 9 square feet, 0.92 square meters, with a horizontal projection and width of not less than 36 inches, 914 millimeters. The area of the window well shall allow the emergency escape and rescue opening to be fully opened. R311.3.1 Floor elevations at the required egress doors. Landings or finished floors at the required egress door shall not be more than 1.5 inches, 38 millimeters lower than the top of the threshold. Exception: the landing or floor on the exterior side shall not be more than 7 3/4 inches, 196 millimeters, below the top of the threshold, provided that the door does not swing over the landing or floor. R314.2.2 Alterations, repairs, and additions. Where alterations, repairs, or additions requiring a permit occur, the individual dwelling unit shall be equipped with smoke alarms, located as required for new dwellings. Exceptions: 1. Work involving the exterior surfaces of dwellings, such as the replacement of roofing or siding, the addition or replacement of windows or doors, or the addition of a porch or deck. 2. Installation, alteration, or repairs of plumbing or mechanical systems. R314.3 Location. Smoke alarms shall be installed in the following locations: 1. In each sleeping room. 2. Outside each separate sleeping area in the immediate vicinity of the bedrooms. 3. On each additional story of the dwelling, including basements and habitable attics, and not including crawl spaces and uninhabitable attics. In dwellings or dwelling units with split levels and without an intervening door between the adjacent levels, a smoke alarm installed on the upper level shall suffice for the adjacent lower level, provided that the lower level is less than 1 full story below the upper level. R314.3 Location. Smoke alarms shall be installed in the following locations: 1. In each sleeping room. 2. Outside each separate sleeping area in the immediate vicinity of the bedrooms. 3. On each additional story of the dwelling, including basements and habitable attics, and not including crawl spaces and uninhabitable attics. In dwellings or dwelling units with split levels and without an intervening door between the adjacent levels, a smoke alarm installed on the upper level shall suffice for the adjacent lower level, provided that the lower level is less than 1 full story below the upper level. R314.6 Power source. Smoke alarms shall receive their primary power from the building wiring, where such wiring is served from a commercial source, and where primary power is interrupted, shall receive power from a battery. Wiring shall be permanent and without a disconnecting switch other than those required for overcurrent protection. Exceptions: 1. Smoke alarms shall be permitted to be battery operated where installed in buildings without commercial power. 2. Smoke alarms installed in accordance with Section R314.2.2 shall be permitted to be battery powered. R316.3 Surface burning characteristics. Unless otherwise allowed in Section R316.5, foam plastic or foam plastic cores used as a component in manufactured assemblies used in building construction shall have a flame spread index of not more than 75 and shall have a smoke developed index of not more than 450 when tested in the maximum thickness and density intended for use in accordance with ASTM E84 or UL 723. Loose fill-type foam plastic insulation shall be tested as board stock for the flame spread index and smoke developed index. R317.3.2 Fastenings for wood foundations. Fastenings, including nuts and washers for wood foundations, shall be as required in AWC PWF, American Wood Council and Permanent Wood Foundation. R317.1.5 Exposed Glued Laminated Timbers. The portions of glued laminated timbers that form the structural supports of a building or other structure and are exposed to weather and not properly protected by a roof, eave, or similar covering shall be pressure treated with preservative or be manufactured from naturally durable preservative-treated wood. R317.1 Location required. Protection of wood and wood-based products from decay shall be provided in the following locations by the use of naturally durable wood or wood that is preservative-treated in accordance with AWPA U1. Wood siding, sheathing, and wall framing on the exterior of a building having a clearance of less than 6 inches, 152 millimeters, from the ground, or less than 2 inches, 51 millimeters, measured vertically from concrete steps, porch slabs, patio slabs, and similar horizontal surfaces exposed to the weather. R317.1.4 Wood columns. Wood columns shall be approved wood of natural decay resistance or approved pressure preservative treated wood. Exceptions. 1. Columns exposed to the weather or in basements where supported by concrete piers or metal pedestals projecting 1 inch, 25 millimeters, above a concrete floor or 6 inches, 152 millimeters, above exposed earth and the earth is covered by an approved impervious moisture barrier. 2. Columns in enclosed crawl spaces or unexcavated areas located within the periphery of the building where supported by a concrete pier or metal pedestal at a height more than 8 inches, 203 millimeters, from exposed earth and the earth is covered by an impervious moisture barrier. 3. Deck posts supported by concrete piers or metal pedestals projecting not less than 1 inch, 25 millimeters, above a concrete floor or 6 inches, 152 millimeters, above exposed earth. R317.2.1 Required information. The required quality mark on each piece of pressure preservative treated lumber or plywood shall contain the following information. 1. Identification of the treating plant. 2. Type of preservative. 3. The minimum preservative retention. 4. End use for which the product was treated. 5. Standard to which the product was treated. 6. Identity of the approved inspection agency. 7. The designation dry, if applicable. R317.3.1 Fasteners for preservative-treated wood. Fasteners, including nuts and washers for preservative-treated wood, shall be of hot-dipped zinc-coated galvanized steel, stainless steel, silicon bronze, or copper. Staples shall be of stainless steel. Coating types and weights for connectors in contact with preservative-treated wood shall be in accordance with the connector manufacturer's recommendations. In the absence of manufacturer's recommendations, not less than ASTM A653 type G185 zinc-coated galvanized steel or equivalent shall be used. Exceptions. 1. Half-inch diameter 12.7 millimeter or greater steel bolts. 2. Fasteners other than nails, staples, and timber rivets shall be permitted to be of mechanically deposited zinc-coated steel with coating weights in accordance with ASTM B695 Class 55 minimum. 3. Plain carbon steel fasteners in SBX DOT and zinc borate preservative-treated wood in an interior dry environment shall be permitted. R322.2 Flood hazard areas, including A zones. R322.2.1 Elevation requirements. Buildings and structures in flood hazard areas, including flood hazard areas designated as coastal A zones shall have the lowest floors elevated to or above the base flood elevation plus 1 foot, 305 millimeters, or the design flood elevation, whichever is higher. R322.3.5 Walls below design flood elevation. Walls and partitions are permitted below the elevated floor, provided that such walls and partitions are not part of the structural support of the building or structure. R301.2.2.6 Irregular buildings. Wood light frame wall construction, one end of a braced wall panel, shall be permitted to extend more than 1 foot, 305 millimeters, over an opening not more than 8 feet, 2,438 millimeters in width, in the wall below, provided that the opening includes a header in accordance with all of the following. The header is composed of 1. Not less than 1 2x12 or 2 2x10 for an opening not more than 4 feet, 1,219 millimeters wide. 2. Not less than 2 2x12 or 3 2x10 for an opening not more than 6 feet, 1,829 millimeters in width. 3. Not less than 3 2x12 or 4 2x10 for an opening not more than 8 feet, 2,438 millimeters in width.